Hey there, so my name's Elliott Blackler, and I'm going to take you through how to play the 10 Years After track, I'm Going Home, the live version. So before we start, we need to make sure that we understand the chord progression that we're playing over. It's a 12-bar blues in the key of A, which means we're going to have 4 bars of A, we're going to have 2 bars of D, another 2 bars of A, bar of E, D, E, sorry, A and then E, to make up our full 12 bars. And the general feel in the kind of background is just sort of stomp, you know, that kind of thing going on. Now we're going to look at the first solo, the introduction, and predominantly when we're playing this this track, Alvin tends to use the A minor pentatonic, and he also mixes in a few chord tones from the A chord, and he also uses aspects of the major pentatonic. So this mixture of minor and major pentatonic is something that crops up in the blues quite often and is really, really awesome sounding. And it's kind of fundamental to phrasing across this style of music. So anyway, let's look at the scale. So A minor pentatonic. Start with our first finger on the 5th fret of the E, and then we're going to use our 4th finger on the 8th fret, and then we're going to go 5th fret on the A, 3rd finger to the 7th, same pattern on the next string, and the next, then 5, then 8 on the B, now there's one other note we can add there to make it a minor pentatonic, a minor blues scale, and that is the E flat, and that's going to crop up here. So and then we're going to learn the major pentatonic, starting on our 2nd finger. Generally speaking, with major scales, unless they're 3-note per string, you'll start with your 2nd finger. So 2nd finger on the 5th, then we play the B with our 4th, C sharp at the 4th fret with our 1st finger, 4th finger goes to the 7th fret. Same pattern the next string, 4th, and then 3rd finger plays at the 6th, and then we're going to use our 1st finger at the 5th, 3rd finger 7th, 1st 5th, 3rd 7th. So let's get started on the track. So there's a really strong shuffle feel with this, which is really important to remember. And one thing I would strongly emphasize when learning this track is the importance of just getting the general feel of it. If you play it straight, or if the timing's wrong, the phrases won't work, because one of the important things about this this solo is the momentum he gets from the different kind of rhythmic values that he's got in there, particularly the use of his triplets, and just some of the kind of awesome phrasing, particularly on one of the bends over the sort of E and D chord. It's really interesting. So there's lots to take away from this other than just kind of the speed of it. There's some great phrases that you can use at all sorts of different paces. So to start off, the first part is this little anacrusis, which is like an upbeat into the main 12 bar. So we're going to start here on the 7th fret with our 3rd finger, 1st finger to the 5th, and then 3rd finger to the 7th. So we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now the first bar over A, we're going to slide. This is the theme that comes back a lot. Sliding from the 8th fret down to the 7th, pulling off to the 5th, which is the C. So now he does this as triplets and also as quavers later on, but this is a triplet. So, and then we get 7, the D, and that's going to be played with your 3rd finger kind of flattened down, because you're then going to play the A on the D string, and then that repeats. So, and then 5th fret C, and the 3rd finger will play the 7th fret on the G. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Next bar. So quarter tone bend with your 1st finger on the 5th fret. Pull off from the 7th A to the G. 2 notes on the A, and then a triplet, which is going to be played. You're going to play the C with your 1st finger on the G string, flatten it down so that you then bar onto the E on the B string and hammer on to the 7th fret, which is the F sharp, which is from the major pentatonic, not the minor. Or you could see it as the Dorian, a kind of Dorian minor pentatonic, so that you're getting that F sharp in there. So 3rd bar of the sequence. A with your 1st finger at the 5th fret, slide into an A on the 10th fret of the B string, play C with your 1st finger, and then we're going to do the same thing that we did an octave lower. 11th fret slides back and then pulls off to the C, and then just to finish it off, a triplet at the end. D, pulled off to C, then A. And then the last bar on the A is quarter tone bend on C, and then pull off as quavers, A to G, and then as crotchets, A, C. So far, 1 and 2 and 3. Then the fun starts over the D chord. So this is bar 5 that we're in now. We get. So this is a repeating phrase that goes over the first 2 beats and then the second 2 beats of that bar. So we're going to pull off from the 11th to the 8th, and then do the same thing from the 10th to the 8th, and then play an A and then a C. And then the second bar of the D, we get this really, really cool phrase coming backwards. Now, normally you would expect something like this. So keeping it sort of minor pentatonic, but with the flat 5 from the blues scale. But he plays this, the G sharp down to the G, which sounds really, really interesting and kind of catches your ear, and particularly at that speed it sounds great. So we're going to do triplets all the way through the first 3 beats and then quavers on the last 2. So pull off 11 to 8, then pull off 9 to 8 on the B string, and then we're going to play E, G, and then we're going to slide from E down to D, pull off to the C, and then 2 quavers. So those 2 bars over the D together. Now we're back onto the A chord. We get a bend. We're going to bend from the 7th fret into the E at the ninth. And it's a grace note bend, so it's really, really quick. So, and we're going to play an A on the 5th fret of the E string, and then we're going to go 8th fret, slide down, pull off, all as quavers, and then this phrase as a triplet. So, next bar, so quarter tone bend on the 5th, pull off 7 to 5 on the D string, pick the A, C, pull off D to C. So over the E. So we're going to slide from 8 down to 7 and then pull off. Phrase I was talking about at the start as a triplet. Next triplet. Going to play D, pull off to C, and then we're going to play an E, which is a really, really cool interval. I quite like that. It really stands out. And then play the C and then the E again. Then we get this. That's a bend from the 7th to the 9th. So, and then we go down and back up very quickly. Now this is something that you might find hard to keep in tune, so it's definitely worth trying this at a really slow speed. A good exercise with regard to bends is to get a metronome out and just bend. And just do it metronomically like that, and this will certainly help with this if you're having problems with that. After that, on the second beat, over the D, top A, 8th fret, slide down, pull off, and then D to C again. So those two bars, E to D, sound like this. And then the A, play the note A, and then we get this minor to major thing. So we're going to play a C and hammer on to the 6th fret, which is the C sharp, and also part of the major chord. So he's really marking that chord there. Slide from the 8th to the 7th, and then pull off, and then play an A. So, and that last bit is a triplet. So crotchet, quavers, and the last bit there is a triplet. And the last part, the E on the turnaround, final chord of the 12 bars. So staccato C there, 2 E's, and then we're going to hammer on from 6 to 7. So 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. So if we take it from the A, and then we're back to the next cycle of 12 bars. We're going to play an A. So A, and that second A, sorry. You want to play with your finger slightly flat so you can then roll it back to play the E at the 7th fret of the A string. And then we're going to hammer on 5, 6, 7. Just a little kind of passing G sharp in there to get the A. And then we go C to A, another A, and then a triplet as we played at the start. C, roll to the E, and hammer on to the F sharp from the major pentatonic from the door in. And now the next bar. 5, slide to 10 as we did before. 8, 11. Pull off 10 to 8 and then triplet. 10, 8 and then 10 on the B, so D, C, A. And then to finish that 4th bar on the A, as before. Quarter tone bend on the C, pull off A to G, and then A, C. So those two bars. And now on the D we get the triplet thing again. Just pull off from the 11th, pull off to the 8th, and then pull off from the 10th to the 8th. And then play an A at the 10th on the B string, and then play a C on the 8th fret of the E string. So, and then in the next bar. Now I find this really interesting rhythmically. You've got a triplet on beat 1, triplet on beat 4, and quavers in between. And then that little tie after the third note within the bar. So pull off 11 to 8, 10 to 8, and then we're going to play note 8 again, and then we're going to play 9 on the G string, the E, and then we're going to play it again, and then slide back down to the D, to the C, to the A. Really important that we lock that in. So triplet on the first beat, 2, 3, 4. A triplet on the last. So from the D. And then we get this on the A. 5. Hammer on to the D at the 7th fret. Bend that up to the E. Then we're going to play A fret 5 on the E string. And triplets, slide 8 to 5 and then pull off. And then D, C, A, pull off. And then next bar, quarter tone bend with the first finger on the 5th fret on the C, and then quavers throughout from then on. A, C, A, C, and then pull off 7 to 5, D to C. So, and then on the D, like we had before, 8 to 7 to 5. And then we're going to go 7 to 5, triplet, finishing on that E there. So, and then we go to quavers. We're going to play C with the first finger, and then the E with the third finger. So, that bend again, 7 to 9, and then rebend without picking, and then first finger fret 5 on the E, we go to 8, slide back, 7, 5, and then pull off. So those 2 bars. 2, 3, 4. And then the last 2 bars. A, then we go from minor to major with the C to the C sharp hammered on. First finger at the 5th fret, slide 8 to 7, a little clip note there, and then staccato C, 2 E's. So 3, 4. And then all that's left is the repeated phrase when he sings I'm Going Home, which is 1. One, and, so we come in on the and with that first finger at the 5th fret of the B. Grace note, really quick bend from 7 to 9. First finger rolls from the E to the A at the 5th fret. And then we bend 8 to 10. Sorry. And then we do the same thing but without the fret 5 note to start. And then that bend 8 to 10, instead of being a quaver, becomes a grace note, so it's really fast bend. So 1 and. And then on 4 and, you can put this in, it's optional, it's on the record, but it's kind of drowned out by everything else. But it's a little clip on 4 and. And that repeats all the way through until we get to bars 11 and 12, which are the A to the E. And then on that we get a bend starting on the second quaver of the bar, 1 and we bend 7 to 9, 5th at the top, and then triplet 8, 7, 5. We're going to play the D, and then we're going to hammer on C to C sharp, A, and this is good. The finger's going to roll back, so it needs to be slightly further up, and then play 2 E's, 1. Now that coming out of the previous phrase, 1. With regards to this phrase, there's a couple of different ways that we can pick it, and it's really important that we know what's going on with the right hand and the left hand on this section. So each different way of picking this has its own distinct sound, and we want it to be as effective and fluent as possible, so that when you get up to speed with this, you'll be able to play it and not really have to think about it, which is the way that we want it to be. Any tension between the hands is going to eventually end up with mistakes. So here's one way of playing it. We're going to pull off from the E flat to the C on the first string, and we're going to go for an upstroke, pull off, and then upstroke on the D at the 10th fret, pull off to the C, and then we're going to economy pick from the A to the C. Now, for those of you that are not sure what economy picking is, it's where the pick drags through the strings, almost as if you're going like this on a chord. Instead of 2 separate strokes, which would be like that. So the phrase sounds like the next part. Up, pull off, up, pull off, up, down, up, slide, pull off. So and that's an effective way of getting around that. Another way that we can do it is to use some hybrid picking. This is something that I quite like to do. So for this, there's 2 different ways. We can alternate the first 2 notes and then put the hybrid note in, or we can keep them both down. Here's it with just down. So we're going to go down, pull off, down, pull off, down on the A, and then hybrid pick with our middle finger here. So the next bit would be down, pull off, down, pull off, down, hybrid pick, down, slide, pull off. We can also do that with alternates on the first 2 notes. So which would also mean that when we get to this bit, we would go down and then up as well. So and you can run that at various speeds. I would suggest with all of these that you try them all out at a slow speed and then work them up. Each method is really useful for your overall playing as well, so do experiment with them. Now here's another way that we can play it, is to pull off with a downstroke, upstroke, pull off, and then down and then up. So, and then down, up, down, up, down. And that would be straight alternate picking. Now what I would recommend, what I'd quite like to do would be, and on this section, down, pull off, up, pull off, up, down, up. So instead of being down, up, down on these notes, I get up, down, up. And that just keeps the picking inside rather than me needing to go over the top of the string. So it keeps that nice relaxed feel that you're gaining from alternating here. So that's one method. Another method, this is the final one, is to go like this. Down, pull off, down, pull off, down, up. So, and you can hear this has got a really highly accented sound. So, I hope you enjoyed going through the 10 Years After track. There's so many great things to learn rhythmically in terms of technique as well, and just general expression using sort of blues phrasing. if you'd like to organise a lesson with me, I teach all around London. I also teach via Skype, so I can teach wherever you may be in the world. If you're interested in that, please go to my website. Other than that, till next time, have fun going through the track, work on it slowly and build it up, and then you'll be able to incorporate some of the phrases from this into your own playing, and vice versa as well. So till next time, all the best.
Oh,